It's the 80s, darling. Halloween, 1983. I've been living in New York for about a year now. I'm very excited because I'm going to a Halloween party tonight with my dear friend Amy. I went to college with Amy, and we're old buddies, and now she's living in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm living uptown on the Upper West Side, and we're going to have some fun together at her party. So, everybody's there. Groucho Marx and Karl Marx and Dracula and Marie Antoinette are all at the party, and Amy and everybody is there. It's a fantastic party. We're there all night. Another one of our Detroiter friends, Bobo Wally, he's running into the wall and smashing and sliding down the wall. And Amy didn't think that. What is he doing that for? I'm gonna have to clean those walls, you know. Yeah. So the next morning, people are dispersing, and it's just the last few of us as the party ends. And the next morning, I'm the last person standing. So I crash on the couch. Amy crashes in her room. Her hilarious roommate Vivian crashes in her room, and they come out and they say, "All right, let's go to breakfast." And so we go to breakfast over here at some fantastic Brooklyn place, and they say, "Listen, you're so much fun. Why don't you come work with us at O'Neill's, where they both worked at a fancy restaurant on 42nd Street and Times Square called O'Neill's?" And and they said, "You got to come work with us." And I said, "I've never been a waiter before." I made a promise to myself that I would never work as a waiter or anything like that. They said, "It's going to be so much fun. You've got to do it." So I went along with them to O'Neill's, and they said, "We're short on staff, and maybe you could get hired right away." And so I go in there and I meet the boss, and he's one of these guys who believes in the right stuff. It's his favorite book. He wanted to climb inside the pages of that book and live there and hope that everybody that he hired believed it too. Anyhow, so we're interviewing me, and they say, "Oh, Harry Wetzel, he's been a waiter all over the place." And they say, "Where'd you wait before?" And I said, "Oh yeah, back in Michigan." And I says, "All right, fine, you're hired. Can you come back in tomorrow at noon?" This means I got to come in the next day as a waiter. All right, I got my bow tie at home. I got my white shirt. I got my black pants. I got my vest. I got all these clothes already anyway. All right, so it's the next day. It's November now, and I've got a new job, but I've got to go and quit my old job at the bookstore. So I go in there, and the boss is there, and he's sitting behind the desk, and I say, "Well, listen, hi, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't plan on it, but I got another job. And so I'm leaving this job here. Is it okay?" And he says, I said, "Yeah, so this is my notice." And he said to me, "Harry, this is the sort of thing, this sort of lifestyle that you're leading is going to," and I didn't know that he knew what kind of lifestyle I was leading, other than I just happened to quit a job on zero notice. "This sort of lifestyle is the sort of thing that is going to catch up with you someday." And I said, "Oh, okay. Bye." And I was out. And so then the next day I come back to O'Neill's with Amy and Vivian. And my first day I just everybody. I just didn't do anything except hang around and get the vibe. The next day I go in, my second day, I trail Vivian. I've got a little notepad. I follow her around. She takes her orders. I take some ersatz notes. And the next day is the third day, and you're thrown to the wolves. You're on your own. All right. So I get there for the lunch. And there's four people at a table, and they each wanted coffee. Now I remember seeing the day before somebody carry two coffees and two coffees stacked on top of each other, stacked on top of each other. and they carried 4 coffees. And I said, "Oh, I bet that's easy." And so then I got a cup and a saucer and a saucer and a cup. There you go. A saucer and a cup and a saucer and a cup. And then I tried to deliver this to the table, and I was shaking, and people were so scared of me as I'm going through the restaurant, and people were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," ducking out of the way as I'm trying to carry these. It looked like I thought they were going to explode. Anyhow, I finally delivered them to the thing, and that was an example of what it was like being a waiter on your own. Anyhow, so later on that night, there was an eight top, and they came in one at a time, or rather two at a time, and then two more, and then two more, and then two more. And they kept on ordering another bottle of wine, and they kept on getting drunker and drunker and drunker, and they got very disrespectful. And one of them, as a matter of fact, I brought out I brought out everything. I was working as hard as I could for these guys, and I put the wrong plate of lamb in front of the wrong restaurant customer. And he looked me square in the eye and he said, "The service in this place is really terrible. Did you notice?" I just wonder how people can sleep at night. Anyhow, that eight top got me fired. And the boss himself, Mr. The Right Stuff, came over and he put his arm around me and he said, "Harry, you don't got enough experience to work in a place like this. You don't have the right stuff." And so that was I quit that job. And then I got fired from that other job. Now, let me get this straight. You had a job, a perfectly good job, and you quit that job for the hope of another job working out. And you are promptly fired from that job after 3 days. Okay, just trying to get it straight. I thank you. How do we make this go away?